Best toilet at Monash University.
That's a very interesting question that you have there.
I feel like the upper levels of like law library, it gets like pretty quiet and like you start smelling like the beer around there, so that's how you know like people don't be.
Alright, so who am I here with today?
Alicia.
My name is Simeon. I'm the president of MASA.
Hello, my name is Edward Chen and I'm the president of Monash Association of Coding.
Hi, I'm Veronica and I'm the current president of ACES, which is the Civil Engineering Club at Monash.
And what are you studying?
I'm studying the Bachelor of Commerce and Law.
I'm studying a Bachelor of Computer Science and I'm in my 4th year.
I'm a final year Civil Engineering and Finance student.
I'm studying commerce and science.
What would be the best piece of advice you could give to a first year?
My best piece of advice? Well, if I'm being real, my Jaffa year was probably the most fun I've ever had. Maybe a bit too much fun. But that's what uni life is about. Uni can honestly be such a stressful time. Like you're at this weird stage in your life where you're technically an adult, but you're still trying to figure out what to do. It's so easy to fall into the trap of constantly comparing yourself to everyone else, and I definitely went through that myself. But over time, I've just learned to embrace that uncertainty. Everyone's figuring it out in their own time and their own way, and what I've come to realize is it's such a rare time in your life where you have so much freedom, and you'll never get that back. It's a journey, and you've just got to learn to embrace it. And you know, when I talk to the unks and the old heads, they always talk about how their university life was some of the fondest memories they've ever had. And while I'm nearing the tail end of my university journey, I've definitely come to resonate with that sentiment. So my biggest piece of advice to any first year is don't wait until you have the perfect plan. Just start saying yes to things, join that club that you were too scared to join, go to that random event and talk to people that you usually won't talk to.
And do you have any piece of advice that you give to a first year student?
Yeah, I think in first year, you should definitely just go out and try to do as many things as you can. Try clubs, different classes, different elective units. Really just put yourself out there and get a bunch of new experiences. I think first year is a time where you should be learning about yourself and what you're interested in, and really just doing as much as you can. Because I think when you get to third year, fourth year, you start to like look in on like jobs and stuff. So I think first year you have so much time to just like get a lot of new experiences and really just find what you're interested in.
What would you say is your biggest piece of advice to a first year student?
So my biggest piece of advice for any incoming first year students is to genuinely have fun. So I probably took on this advice a little bit too enthusiastically. So I've joined a whole bunch of student clubs. So I joined BSA, which is the Vietnamese student club. And I joined like a non-profit with some other uni mates as well. And that really allowed me to really branch out, make new friends, and I've even met some of my lifelong best friends as well. So just taking that time to experiment. First year is probably the most like unserious year of your degree, so might as well have fun.
What's the biggest piece of advice that you give to a first year?
Yeah, sure thing. I think first of all, really just making the most of all your opportunities, whether that be student clubs, student teams. Monash has so much to offer in terms of all these extracurricular activities. On top of that, you have, study tours and mentoring programs. And so I think it really is a time for you to sort of figure out your interests, get to know different people, and who knows, like some of these people might be people you work with in the future, some of them might be lifelong friends. And so I think, getting exposure to different areas and just finding out what you enjoy is really key.
Yeah, really good advice.
Now that you've come towards the end of your uni life,
Yeah.
what has been one thing that's helped you choose your career pathway or just guide you?
Well, one thing that helped me the most in my university journey and figuring out my career path was getting involved in student societies. So when I first joined uni, I had no idea what pathways were even out there, and let alone what I was interested in. But through getting involved, attending networking nights, industry panels, and all these informative events, I slowly started to piece together what areas I was actually interested in. And more than that, being surrounded by like-minded people like yourself,
Thank you.
who are also driven and exploring similar paths, made such a huge difference. It keeps you motivated, opens up new opportunities, and creates this community where you learn from each other. So if you're feeling unsure about your direction, getting involved is such a good first step. It gives you exposure, clarity, and the right people around you to figure things out.
And what would you say is the one thing that helped you figure out your career path?
For me, I talked to a lot of people who were already doing the degree, so maybe in like their second and third year, and people who were already like post-grads and were already doing jobs that I was like somewhat interested in. So previously I was doing biomed and I transferred out of that because I was talking to a lot of people and I realised that it wasn't like the best fit for me. So upon talking to a lot of my mates who were already, doing or working in like accounting firms, things like that, I found that piqued my interest a lot more. So that's why I transferred, and now I'm kind of more sure of my career pathway.
And my second question for you is, what's the one thing that helped you the most in finding out your career path?
Yes, so currently I'm in the renewable energy space and I've been in this industry for almost 2 years now. I think it really just comes down to putting up your hand for different opportunities and getting exposed to different industry and networking events. I think going into university, it's really hard to know exactly what you want to do, but making those valuable industry connections and different internships, different networking events, panels, mentoring programs can play a key part in what you might want to do in the future. And
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like getting your name out there, talking to others, and I guess like listening to what other people say about different industries is really helpful.
Yeah, and what do you think is the biggest waste of time at uni?
Biggest waste of time at uni? I think a lot of classes, they teach a lot of not as useful content. So I think just really identify what things are useful and what things aren't for your degree and your career, and then double down on what is, and then kind of just like scrape by with what isn't.
Being in your 5th year and you've had a lot of experience with your uni life,
I have.
what would you say is the biggest waste of time in uni?
The biggest waste of time in uni is definitely doom scrolling. So look, it's totally fine if you want to enjoy yourself and have that 30 minutes of brain rot here and there. We all need to switch off sometimes. But keeping yourself busy and active is so much better for your mental and your physical health, mate.
Appreciate it.
So in my case, whether it's playing recreational sports with my mates, catching up for a quick Macca's run, or even going on a quick Strava run, those little things add so much more value than that endless scrolling. I found that getting your work done early and just locking in during the week means that you can properly enjoy your downtime. I always try to have something to look forward to. Maybe it's like a futsal game with my mates or even like a rave at the end of the week. So imagine you score the game-winning goal and then you realize, I missed the deadline to submit my KPMG internship and now I'm jobless. Or even worse, you're waiting for the beat drop at the D Block and Stefan Ghost Story set, and then you realize you need to submit that special consideration application for that criminal law essay that you've just been procrastinating on. It would absolutely kill your mood. So getting that work done early keeps you motivated, and I know I'll enjoy it so much more if I'm not stressing over tasks I haven't done. So at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is stop doom scrolling. Your future self will definitely thank you.
That's some really great advice, Simeon.
And my next question for you is, can you please describe your uni experience in 3 words?
Yeah, so I think first word that comes to mind is transformative. I think university really is a time to sort of grow and develop yourself, not only like professionally but also personally, and figure out what sparks your interest. I think also rewarding. Obviously we're all here to learn, but there's so much that there is to offer, and there's so many skills that you can pick up along the way. And finally, resilience. I think, both in, when it comes to day-to-day things like assignments, meeting deadlines, but also learning to deal with different setbacks like rejections or applying for jobs. I think that really helps to build a strong character going into the workforce.
And what would you say is the biggest challenge you faced while at uni?
For me, I think kind of extending off with the last question, for me, it was actually just finding the right pathway. So for a lot of people, the degree that you pick in year 12 is like the right fit for them. But for me, that wasn't the case. So just trying to figure out what I liked, what I didn't like. I think that was my biggest challenge. But yeah.
Veronica, so does the Eng building or Woodside stink more?
No comment.
What would you say is the best toilet in Monash?
The best toilet, probably like lower ground Matheson's, but like not the one closest to the stairs, like the one like further back, because the one closest to the stairs, like you run into way more people. Like imagine going to the toilet and then you run into your ops. So like you go to the one like further back and it's like more secluded, but like don't go there though because that's where I go.
What do you reckon is the best toilet at Monash University?
Best toilet at Monash University. Matheson level 3. Matheson level 3.
And why is that?
It's like nice and quiet. There's like only one there, but if it's taken, you're kind of screwed. But yeah.
And one last question I have for you is, since you're a big foodie, where do you think is the best food on campus?
I think you can't go wrong with GYG, even though the lines are so long. If you go at the right hour, I think a burrito bowl never disappoints. But
Chicken or beef?
grilled chicken, I would say. If you want to treat yourself though, pokeade.
Oh, but it's kind of exy.
It is.
Yeah, but still good
So
and healthy.
make sure you hustle, work hard, so you have the money to spend on pokeade.
Where is the best place to study for sweats?
Sweats. I feel like the upper levels of like law library, it gets like pretty quiet and like you start smelling like the BO around there. So that's how you know like people don't be like they be locking in too much and like not showering enough.
Thank you for your answers, Veronica. I'm sure a lot of people will find it really insightful. And yeah, have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Eddie.
Yeah. Thank you. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Any last words?
Well, thank you for your time.
No worries. It was great meeting you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your university journey.
Thanks.
Is that what your answer was?
Maybe a little too much fun.
Thank you for having me.
All good. Thank you for coming.
Alright, so who am I here with today?
Yeah, I think that's a great advice. I could definitely relate.
I joined like a whole range of. He's literally looking at me. Why did you do that? I was literally doing so well. Okay.